Williams to move the motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I beg to move that this House has considered democracy in Uganda. Serious concerns have been raised internationally about the Ugandan government systematically undermining democracy in their country. MPs have been arrested, institutions that should protect the democratic rights of citizens are being weakened, and the voices of ordinary Ugandans are being ignored. The United Kingdom is a friend of Uganda. We are important partners in trade, in development, in security. And, Madam Chair, I am a friend of Uganda too. Uganda and the UK have a shared past, and I hope we will have a strong and prosperous shared future together too. But at the start of this debate today, it's important to ask, what is the UK's interest in Uganda, and whether that gives us a legitimate right to make any comment about its democracy? I firmly believe that Uganda should be valued as an equal partner to the UK. But it hasn't always been an equal partnership. Our relationship began in 1894. Until 1962, Uganda was what was known then as a British protectorate. Now, Uganda is an independent, sovereign nation, and it has been throughout my lifetime. It has a constitution that describes a balance of power between an executive, a legislature, and other independent bodies. I respect the Ugandan constitution. It's right for Uganda, and it's right for the Ugandan people. That constitution protects the Ugandan people. It's the rock on which Ugandan democracy is built. And the relationship between our two countries should always respect the Ugandan constitution. President Museveni has been in power for 33 years this month. 3/4 of people in the country haven't ever lived under a different leader. The Ugandan people can see that the institutions of their democracy are slowly being eroded. Firstly, the government has closed down critical media outlets. There are credible reports that television stations were interrupted during the 2016 elections when results were being reported that favoured the opposition. There are also credible reports that social media, including Facebook and Twitter, is shut down by the government during sensitive times. Secondly, the government has used the military to attack Parliament. When MPs were debating the extension of presidential term limits, Parliament was attacked and MPs, including Betty Nambuze, were beaten by armed forces. Thirdly, there's evidence of serious human rights abuses. There are serious and credible reports about an attack in Kisese on the palace of King Charles Mubere in 2016 and the massacre of 150 civilians by Ugandan forces. According to these reports, the soldier who led this attack has been promoted and no independent investigation has taken place. Hopefully the Minister will give the government's position on this attack. Fourthly, elections have been described in diplomatic language as being short of being free and fair. Serious allegations have been made about the conduct of elections in Uganda over many years, but the most recent EU report on the 2016 presidential election made 30 recommendations that should be enacted before the next election, which happens in 2021. Now, there are many Ugandan opposition politicians who've struggled bravely to use the democratic process to win power. There isn't time to mention all of them here, but I'd like to draw attention to two people. Kizza Besigye has stood for president on 3 occasions. He's been arrested, beaten, and harassed so many times that he's lost count. I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Besigye when he visited our parliament last year. His sacrifices in the pursuit of democracy in Uganda should be lauded. And I also want to mention Robert Kyagulanyi, also known as BOBI WINE. Kyagulanyi is a young, charismatic musician with a large popular following who was elected to the Ugandan parliament around the same time that I was elected to the UK parliament. But while I get to, in a friendly way, be critical of the government without harassment, Bobby has been the target of totally undemocratic behaviour by his. In August of last year, he and 4 other MPs were arrested by the military whilst campaigning at a by-election. His driver was shot dead. He was severely beaten by soldiers before being brought to court on trumped-up charges that were later dropped. BOBI Wine was eventually handed over to police and released, but this is just another example of the Ugandan government using the military to prevent democratically elected politicians doing their job.
The question is that this House has considered democracy in Uganda. Pauline Latham.
People are still abducted. Right, Honourable Speaker, on the eve of the election, colleague leaders in my political party, one, our Deputy President in charge of Western Uganda, Jolie Jacqueline Tukamushaba, a lady who is well known to you, was abducted. To date, her whereabouts are not known. The Honourable Lina Zedriga, our Deputy President in charge of Northern Region, was abducted on election eve. To date, her whereabouts are not known. A gentleman called John Mary Sebuf, who is a councillor, and several others. You see the challenge about these issues. We keep raising them and some colleagues say, but you are pestering us. Yes, we shall pester using this platform that we have. It is unacceptable that people get abducted and their whereabouts are not known for one day, for a week, come into 2 weeks. Why can't people be produced in court? Government needs to help us understand. I'm not above the law. No one is. I can be suspected to have committed an offense. But what does the law say? Arrest me vis-a-vis the law, produce me in a court of law. But when you hold me somewhere, family cannot access me, lawyers cannot access me. What do you want us to do? What do you want people to do? And when you complain about these issues, some people think we are being too much. Perhaps until it happens to you. And it has happened to colleagues, by the way, across the aisle. So these are critical issues. First, detach the political affiliation and whatever you think is the reason for this person's arrest. But can the law prevail? And these concerns have got to be addressed, Right Honourable Speaker. Hundreds of people arrested, polling agents, people held in police cells for more than the 48 hours that are allowable within the law. That is not proper. And when we raise these issues, let's address them as people's representatives. Forget that I am NUP or NRM, because it can happen to any of us. These foundational principles have got to be respected and fought for by all of us in this room, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, my party leader, after the election, his house was raided, the Honourable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert, who is an OB of this house. He managed to sneak away. I kept seeing the military, I kept seeing the Minister of Information here saying no one is after him. But as they were saying that, the military was continuously descending on his home, raided it, broke into it, beat up his wife and family members. And the following day, the minister and other dignitaries were saying, no one is after this man. I said, look, just like I have made it succinctly clear, no one is above the law. If there is an offense that the Honourable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert is suspected of having committed, whether it be running for president, some people think it is an offense that you can challenge the Bush war general, and so it's an offense. Whatever offense it is, why don't summons get to be issued to him? So that then he's able to show up and is charged. Honourable Speaker, yesterday his siblings tried to access his home. After the minister again said, no, all is well, people can access. His siblings went there yesterday. And police officers, several of them deployed there, they said, we don't have authority to allow anybody to access his place. I want to know, is it official that the Honourable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert is under house arrest? And for that matter, people cannot access his family? And for that matter, it should continue this way. Because why are you not summoning him if there's a particular offense that he has committed? And again, Honourable Speaker, let's forget that this is the leader of the NUP, which you might not like. That's okay. But this is a Ugandan. This is a leader for all intents and purposes. Why is the law operating this way? And Honourable Speaker, the good minister here has got experience with the law being absquatulated. He suffered a similar fate when he was abducted. He was taken away for days on end. His family members were looking for him. Colleagues in this house spoke out on the Hansard, by the way. They said, where is Honourable Chris Baryomunsi? Government, where have you taken him and all the others? People fought for you. Yes. Until eventually, government due to the pressure exerted by members here and elsewhere, they produced the gentleman in court. But we were saying, why were you hiding him wherever and treating him the way they were? Right, Honourable Speaker.
Conclude, Lord.
Abductions, and why we call these abductions, the Minister for Internal Affairs, who was saying that, yes, I went through, even though I'm saying the process was unfair. You see, we blame Idi Amin's regime of having killed people, and yes, they did. But Idi Amin did not kill everybody who was present in the country at the time. But let me get back to my point. The reason we are calling these abductions is because how can 7 days later, 2 weeks later, families don't know where they are? Honourable Minister, you have said that you are aware that for some of these, they are being processed for court. Tell me, you quote for me a law which says you can hold somebody for 7 days, for 2 weeks. The family doesn't know. Lawyers don't know. But you're saying you're processing them for court. How is that legal? How? You help me understand. Because if you're processing them for court, the family has got to be able to access them. Lawyers should be able to access them. If they're writing statements, they have a right to have legal counsel with them. But you're saying 10 days later you're processing them for court. We don't know the state in which they are. Family cannot access them. You, with due respect, the Honourable Minister should be ashamed of telling us these things that are outside the law. You should be apologizing the same way you're saying government had.
olwatuuka gamba abooluganda ng'otulabira munnange nga wabaawo akabwa kamu nga kagenda keewaggula kagendeeyo mu nsiko bwe katuukayo nga kagenda kagwa mu mpologoma zaali nnyingi nga zikataayiza nga zikagoba nga zikakwata naye tezaakatta nga zikateeka wali nga zikabuuza ovaawa nti anveeri ne bannange tubeerayo bangi ate biki nga zikagamba kati gwe tetugenda kukulya ngeri gy'oli nti ova eri ate waliyo ne banno beera wano ogira obeera naffe munnange nga wambwa batandika musaavinga byakulya ng'agira nga yeeyagala nga ne mu nnyumba ayingira ne mu kisenge ky'abakulu ng'atuuka nga yekubisa ebifaananyi wambwa ng'asanyuka nnyo ng'agamba bannange no siriraba nga buli gy'empologoma mutwagala bwe muti wambwa kye yakola nga bamugamba ddayokko eri ne mu banno otandika obbabeeramu nga naye bw'obaleeta n'eno wambwa ng'agenda akuba olukuŋŋaana ku kyalo nga bamubuuza obadde wange onyirira okufa tiii kyembadde eri empologoma zibadde zinzisa ebyokulya bawampologoma bulijjo temumanyi nti batwagala ffe tubaddeyo nze mbabaddemu tebalina buzibu yadde nti wambwa nga bamugamba kuba olukuŋŋaana osobola n'okwesimbawo koffe ne tukubeera nga tukubaakinga tewali nga gamba weri gye nava waliyo ab'amaanyi bangi nga neesimbawo ntya waliyo omukulu waffe oli ye baabawo nengeza nyinya bulinnya ku ntebe yayinza okunzita nti biveeko ebyo ffe tugenda kuwa obukuumi tewali asobola kukuboggolera wambwa ngaddayo ng'empologoma zimuwerekera ng'atuuka wali banne nga badduka emisinde nga bagamba temudduka bano mikwano gyange ate bulijjo temumanyi nti batwagala n'otwagala munnange nga bawampologoma bakuŋŋaana nga wambwa aleeta bawambwa banne nga batuulaawo nga bakola pate nga balya emmere nga wambwa afuuka comfortable nga bamuwa obukulembeze ng'akulira banne nga batandika okugira eri ku pate wampologoma omu ng'agenda akaddiwa ne banne abalala bakulu ne mukyala we nga naye akaddiwa nga tebakyasobola kuyigga kati banne abo abalala bwe baayiganga ennyama nga bagiriirayo ng'ono atuma wambwa wampologoma omukulu ng'agamba ate ffe tubadde tukulabirira leeta ku banno bano abamu abatoototo abo tugire nga tulyalyako ku abo mpolampola oli wazaala bana ng'otuwaako babiri nga tulyako wambwa ng'agamba waayo ate mumwe bakama bange nze naakola ntya nga wambwa atandika kuseetinga banne nga babalya ng'aseetingayo abato nga babalya ng'aseetingayo abalala nga babalya ebbanga lyetooloola nga wambwa bagenda bakendeera nga wasigalawo batini nnyo kati wambwa agenda otunula emabega ne maaso ng'asigaddewo ye ne mukyala we n'abalala nga bana naye nga banne bonna bonna baalinga 200 nga bonna bonna babalidde baweddewo kati wampologoma ng'era ayongera okukaddiira nno ddala ng'amaanyi takyayina ng'abagamba kati tukoze tutya tibannange kati simanyi kyakkola bamugamba naye kati ng'olwaleero njagala kuddamuko ku musaayi mpoyo omukyala wo gwe mbandya koye nti ate mukyala wange mwagala nnyo sisobola mukuwa kale katukuweemu ono muganda wange nga wambwa awaayo muganda we nga bamutugumbula nga bamulya ebbanga lyetooloola wambwa yatuuka ekiseera ng'asigaddewo woomu omukulu n'amugamba munnange sirina kyakkola situkyalina choice kuba nze sikyasobola kuyigga ate gwe asigaddewo ate neetaaga ennyama kati eba amanyi na kulya ggwe wambwa yali asigaddewo nga naye bamukavula. Bawambwa bonna nga basaanawo. Abantu bagenda okuddamu okwetooloola nga ewali bawambwa buwangwa bwerere bwe bujjudde. Nalika Sudaani eyo. Nze omu ku bantu abaali obulungi. Nga tulina galagi. Sinze yagiginako bwannannyini naye nga nkoleramu akasente kangi kuba nze omu ku bamanyi abaalimu. Era bakyali bange kwe bali bangi vidiyo eno mugenda gira munjulira. Nga nyinako edduuka lya sipeeya, nga nkola ku sipeeya, nenkola ne wali nga nyina n'abakozi. Naye Omusudaani alina statement gye yakola olunaku lumu. Abasinga tebambuuza nga nansonga lwaki wava e Sudaani. Kuba navaayo bye nali mbaze ne bigaana ne nsigala e Uganda nga nsiranye omwaka mulamba. Nagaana okudda e Sudaani. Nakolera omusajja omu ow'amagye emmotoka. Abantu bonna baali bamutya era bakyali bange kwe muli vidiyo eno mugenda giraba. Naŋŋamba gireete emmotoka yali maakattu nga maze gisiba yingiriwe. Nagimutwalira ewaka naŋŋamba wabula emmotoka ogikoze bulungi. Ate oli musajja wa mazima nkwagadde naye amazima matuufu siina ssente. Oyinayokko ku banno b'omanyi abalina ssente ng'otulagirire basula ffe tugenda kusindikayo abavubuka bange ekiro. Bajja zireeta nkuweeko naawe ofuneko. Ne mugamba sijja sobola mukama wange emmotoka kangireke. Emmotoka eyo neegenda neefa naye omwami oyo yaleeta emmotoka ey'okubiri ne mugamba sijja gisobola ne difodi y'amasannyalaze ayina gye yagitwala. Bamala ogikola. Simanyi bo bayabasasuza ati kuba nze teyansasula. Waliwo omukwano gwange omu bamuyita Kawaya. Yalinga akola wayalingi. Yakola edduuka n'alisiiga langi ogenda okuzuukuka ku makya nga bamukubye amasasi mu magulu. Bajja ekiro nga bamuleega ssente nga taziina. Ne bamukuba amasasi mu magulu nakati atambulira ku miggo. Buli wenzijukira statement eyo oyinayo ku banno b'omanyi abalina ssente. Tugende tubakyambuwe ne ŋŋamba watya nga balina omulala gwe baguddeko. Ne bamubuuza oyina ku banno b'omanyi abalina mu kasente omanyi we basula. N'abagamba nnyinayo n'abaleeta ewange. Nali siwedde. Ndowoozamu bwe nti waliwo kyali wange bamuyita Looja ne mugaa akaduuka kano kampeemu ssente. Badde njagala kutambulamu. Nakifumiitirizako wiikisi nga 2 ng'amaze okukuba Kawaya amasasi. Ne neegoba e Sudaani. Kakati mu bumpimpi empologoma zisobola okukuyamba okukuuma okyunye banno. N'ekigendererwa ky'empologoma ki? Bw'obanga toli mpologoma ng'oli mbwa, oli mbuzi oba oli nte, empologoma ne weetambula naawe omwaka mulamba eba etambula naawe ng'oli nte nga yo mpologoma. Intensioni zaayo bwe ziggwa anytime esobola okyusaamu katini. Sinakindi naawe n'olugenderamu. Ndaba nnyo wano embwa nga zitambula n'empologoma naye bw'oba toli omu ku mpologoma tosobola kutambula na mpologoma nga toli omu ku zo. Ne bw'oli zikolera ebirungi olunaku lugenda kufundikira ng'empologoma gwe gwennyini gwe yeetaaga okunywa kasaayi. Kibeere kyakuyiga nnyo eri omuvubuka ow'ensangi zino. Naddala bali mu kifaananyi eky'embwa. Embwa ensiru egenda ne mukama waayo okuyiga teramba kkubo. Giyinza okuwunyira eyo mukama wo n'otadda naye ng'olina okudda obw'omu. Emba engezi egenda efukaafuka ku bisubi. Bwe giwunya ekomawo ng'ewunyawunya we yafuze olusu lwayo n'ekonga paka weddeeka. Nja kusaba obeere mugezigezi ku mulundi guno. Bw'omanyanga nti toli mbwa ng'otambula na mbwa, bw'omanyanga nti toli mpologoma ng'otambula nazo, weerekerangamu akanaakuzeeka. Olunaku lusobola okyuka lumu ng'olina okuddeeka ate nga tekikyasoboka. Kati nga mu mpologoma oli mulabe kubanga toli omu ku bo. Buli muntu gw'odiringa naye nga toli kiraasi ye nga toli omu ku bo bamulabe. Era jasi okozesebwa bukozesebwa akaseerako bwe kaggwako bakunoonyeza ekyokukolera. Wabula mu ngeri y'emu waliwo levo kw'olina okutuuka n'omanya nti bwemba si
abalungi abatuwuliriza era abatulaba olunaku olwaleero tukyaddeko ewa Sheikh Ashraf Dembe.
Sebo nsanyusa okubalaba. Amannya agange nze Sheikh Ashraf Dembe akola ku bizibu by'enjawulo. Omuntu singa aba alina ebirwadde musomereddwa tumuwa amazzi ga lukuya nga bw'obadde ogalaba tugenda abantu ku kyoto ne twokya emizimu emibi egibabaamu n'okulomba edduwa abantu singa abeera ng'ali wano atuuse sobola okumulombera edduwa ne waba atatuuse nga mpadde amannya ge naye ng'ali wala neetaaze ennamba yange yeeno eri 0707363711 nammwe bannyinaffe abali ebweru oyagala okuba nti oyagala okulombera ku dduwa ng'olina ebizibu viza zibuze amaka gakolongotana sente zikola zimpita mu ngalo ojja kumpeereza ekifaananyi kyo n'amannya go ebyo byokka bijja kummala nja kukulombera edduwa ojja kutereera olunaku olusembayo mu mwezi mba n'edduwa eyawamu ffenna n'abalwadde bange abakadde n'abapya. Salaamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.